Hey moonbeams. Happy Aries New Moon. Happy it's here. We're going to jump right into the astrology surrounding this new moon. And after that, we're going to learn a little bit about the difference between perfection and excellence. And then we're going to do an exercise to explore and begin dismantling social and self-conditioning. Wow, wow, wow. And then we're going to do a guided meditation and potentially an internal journey. We'll see how I feel at that point. So, set some time aside, prepare your space, get your journal, get your favorite pen or a notebook, whatever. Cleanse your space, clear your space, get comfortable, and feel free to pause this video at any point if you need some time to write or think, or you're like, what did she just say? Just pause it. You'll be fine. Alright. This new moon in Aries is about liberation, seeing the true self and releasing obsessions, embracing the emotions of who you are and caring for who you are. Sounds so simple. Oh. Mercury has been in a tough place for the past 6 months, and this has brought up karmic stories, our own delusional facades, and traps of trying to fix the unfixable. I get a little caught up on that one. Also confusion and trouble functioning in reality. Fun. Mars in Gemini wants to give facts to Mercury, who is the neutral planet and leader of the zodiac, and who is still a bit foggy-headed from all its time in Pisces while facing Neptune, whether it's in retrograde or not. Mars sextile Chiron begs us to think on the truth. Think of who we really are and look at all the facts, and then go forward with all these things, even though we might feel nervous, humbled, or unsure due to past hardships. Hello. January offered us realization of structures in our life that need to change, and now is all about embedding these changes into our identity. This is also the last week with all the planets going direct, which is very rare. And next week there will be lots of squares in the zodiac if you follow that. I'm not going to get into every square because I don't care to. But Jupiter will be in retrograde, and that'll bring a nice big turning point for all of us. There will be an intense decision-making time as well coming up next week. We will have the choice to either turn in the direction that will bring us true satisfaction, or turn in a direction that leads us back into old karmic stories that we will continue to play out until we choose to press reset. During these shifts, beware of your subconscious conditioning, especially the outer attachments that don't fulfill us. And also beware of sticking to a traditional route or role and trying to do what we think is right, because that's what the world has always done and showed us is the correct way. They were wrong. It's time to break free of conditioning. In doing this, fears can arise, and that's okay. Fears can show us what's important. The dark, the grand dark, like we have the grand light, this includes part of our subconscious and other societal pressures and shit like that. They can tempt us into guilt, shame, high egoism, and other emotions that resist change. These malicious influences will also try to fool us into thinking we cannot embed our life with the truth, with our truth, that we mustn't, and that we shouldn't. And I say, we can, we are, and we will. Step by step. Over time? Something, hopefully. Over the past 9 months, we've been going through a lot of figuring out what works and what doesn't. Sifting through old baggage, throwing things away, only to find that we were still hoarding things that are difficult to part with. All of this work has been leading up to a birth of our true self. And this is a time of caution. Caution in that we not birth our true self based off what somebody else is wanting us to be, or that we feel we have a duty to be to someone else. That shit is not going to help anyone get anywhere, including the people who are expecting things of you. This is an important and necessary birthing of self to prevent getting trapped again in our own delusions or old traditions that don't make sense for our future. Unless you want to relive 2018, because that was such a banner year for you. I mean, hey, we've got choices. At this time, our intuition can have a difficult time seeing how it's all going to come together. This means we have to raise our courage and strength to create an environment that makes sense to who we are. Part of creating a new environment for us to thrive in is understanding the environment from which we came. Some of the following is from a TED Talk that I watched with Thomas Curran about perfectionism. And I'll tell you, the shit was like a punch to the face. I was like, oh, hey, oh, all right, yeah, no. From the society we grew up in, and with the advent of social media, there has arisen a false idea that there is a perfectible life and a perfectible lifestyle, that nothing is out of reach for those that work hard enough, and if you are self-made and you work hard, it will pay off. You have complete control over your destiny. All of that is fiction. How can we be captains of our destiny when we are subject to an ongoing economic tribunal? And he said that shit. I was like, what? I'm also like, are my roommates going to walk in right now? Opportunity is mostly an illusion when compared with the harsh realities of what economic status one is born into. So many choices have already been made for us. What schools we will attend in our youth, what food is available in our neighborhood, what standards of normalcy are presented at home and in our culture. So many things that inform our foundations of decision-making and value placement, which affect our ways of choice throughout our lives, were decided by the time we were like 6 years old, which is fucking jive. Many of us have been conditioned to define ourselves in strict and narrow terms through standards from schooling, social interaction, and behavior. We live in a society that preys on insecurities in performance and appearance, where every flaw is magnified. Feelings of deficiency are pervasive, and these feelings tend to recast our successes as failures. And this is how we screw ourselves through perfectionism. In the spirit of knowing your enemy, here are 3 basic elements of perfectionism. Number 1, self-oriented perfectionism. The irrational desire to be perfect. Boom. Socially prescribed perfectionism. The social environment demands and expects you to be perfect. Other-oriented perfectionism. The imposition of unrealistic standards on other people. Guilty of all 3, but mostly 1 and 3. It's easy to confuse perfection with excellence. So, here's some differences between the two. Perfection is about perfecting an imperfect self. Self-worth, self-defeat. Self-defeat is a big one and has its own cycle. It's like walking up a mountain and reaching the summit, thinking people won't see your flaws and you'll be worth something once you're up there. And after all that work, reaching that summit of outer worthiness, being called back down to the bottom by insecurity and shame, only to work to reach the same summit again. Perfectionism leads inextricably to increased depression, increased anxiety, and other serious mental illnesses. Fuck that. Excellence isn't perfection. It involves goals, tasks, work done through trial and error, flexibility of mind and emotion, innovation, and harmony. The antidote to perfectionism is self-compassion. Of the many ways we can cultivate self-compassion, there are 2 that deal directly with perfectionism. Number 1, finding greater purpose in life beyond appearance and performance. 2, fully realizing, like in the story of Sisyphus, that doing the same thing time and again without getting different results is a personal hell of insanity. In a chaotic world, life will often defeat us, but that's okay. Failure is not weakness. If we can accept and find beauty in the imperfections of nature, then why not us? Yay! Through both conditioning and perfectionism, feelings of not being good enough can arise, as well as confusion, humiliation, and guilt. These can lead to low self-esteem, loneliness, identity issues, helplessness, and powerlessness. These can further lead to a lack of personal boundaries, more perfectionism, anger attachment, passive-aggressive behavior, and all these things lead to ineffective behaviors, toxic desires, and unhealthy emotional reactions that can dominate your life. I mean, it sounds like a pretty bad bag of dicks, and yet lots of us pick up that bag time and time again and carry it around with us. Almost like, look at this shiny bag of rotten dick I have. Isn't that great? Yeah, not great. With all those things in mind, let's do an exercise to help us break our conditioning, our behavior, and emotional reactions. Boop, 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 boop. This is pen and paper time. Get your pen and paper out. Or pause the video and get your pen and paper out. All right. In this exercise, I'm going to ask you questions, and I'll leave a little bit of time, but you might want to pause the video to write out your answers if you need to. So take a breath. Shake off all that morose chatter that you just listened to. What do you believe to be true about your health? The next one is, what do you believe to be true about your fitness? What do you believe to be true about your relationships or how you are in them? What do you believe to be true about your career or work, wherever you're at? What do you believe to be true about your relationship with money? Sneaky. What do you believe to be true about your education? What do you believe to be true about your successes? What do you believe to be true about your failures? What do you believe to be true about how you love? What do you believe to be true about how you show up in the world? That could include how you think other people see you. What do you believe to be true about how social media influences your life? How has it changed you? How have you changed because of it? Okay, take a minute. Take a nice deep breath. Letting the inhale relax the mind and the exhale relax the body. Now, take a look at your answers. What do you think that your answers highlight? What do you think they have in common? Write it down. What did you learn about yourself in this exercise? Okay, it's break time. So Take a breath, take a stretch, take a water or bathroom break, press pause, and do what you need, because we're going to go into more talking and then meditation. 1, maybe 2 of those. I don't know yet. Go play. Come back. Your hold music is missing because I didn't put it on. Yeah. You can maybe do this whole thing again. Okay. Someday I'll learn how to edit videos. That day is not today. I'm okay with it. Just gotta wait for this guy to get his fucking shit together. Oh, where did you go? You good? Can I touch you? You okay with that? Okay. Back to this Aries New Moon. This Aries New Moon is about liberation from fears concerning change. It's about who we truly are and our authentic feelings. Like, can you feel your feels? You should try. It's time to break free from conditioning and embrace with care our authentic selves. There are a few things that I've brought up in past ceremonies that are tools that might really help us on our journey at this point. First one is using fear as a compass. It can show you what's important. When there's fear surrounding something in your world, it's because something about it or the thing itself is important. Another one is mindsets. A mindset is just that. It is a mind that is set, a mind made up. Inflexibility of the mind censors reality and new possibilities from our mind, our thoughts. Flexibility of the mind allows us greater freedom in making choices for ourselves. But is that what you want? Free will's a bitch, huh? Another one is reactions. Quick reactions based on past events that we default to keep us from being in the present moment and from our authenticity. Something comes up, our mind says this about it. Well, what does your mind say about that? And then what does your mind say about that? And you keep going, and you go deeper, and you just keep going in there, and you'll get to the root about your reactions. Another one is favor the unexpected. Our conditioning informs us that the answers in our mind are good. And when we interact with other people, we tend to devalue ideas or thoughts that we don't or wouldn't think of. This is another way that we limit our perception and our thinking and our relationships, big and small. Yeah. It speaks for itself. And in general, the other ceremonies, exploring elements of nature and its wonder, as well as our connection to this and our higher selves. As an organism on this planet, we have the opportunity of innovation and thus evolution. As bipeds, we can even move about, finding the best environment or gathering the best environment to support us. This is just as important to do emotionally, mentally, and spiritually as it is physically in order to survive and thrive. And it's worth making regular time for and taking our time with it. So, marinate, but don't hesitate once you know where to go. And now we're going to do some Native American medicine wheel stuff, because that's been missing for a couple of months, I feel like. I gotta move this foot. Wow. Ugh. Sorry, buddy. There you go. Hope that's better. Center on the Native American medicine wheel is Great Mystery, or the Creator, the source of all life and the beginning and ending of everything. You are a part of Great Mystery and within Great Mystery, and Great Mystery is a part of you and within you. The center of the medicine wheel is the center of your being, which is known as the child's fire among the Maya. This is your personal center. and the fire is your own vital energy. The West, according to Native American wisdom of the medicine wheel, is the place of earth, of going within, working with the actuality of reality. We're going to use the West portion of the 7 breaths meditation to make more of a connection with this direction and its elements. P.S. This is Bear's Jam. Boop, 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 boop. Okay, so get comfortable. Chair, floor, laying down, whatever. And just take a couple of slow cleansing breaths. After a couple of those, let your breath be slow, calm, and natural. I breathe deeply from the West. As I breathe in, I visualize my breath, cleansing my body, purging me of all that is non-essential, my self-importance, and the ways I identify myself. None of that is essentially me. I have spent time in the East and South creating my image of myself. But what does it mean? In the West, I am alone with myself. What do I need to transform? Who am I? West is the place of holding and going within. The gifts of the West are introspection and transformation. These gifts are internal, more painful, and often less immediately fulfilling than those of the East or South. The West is not concerned with recognition from others. Here, I must deal with my own self. I search the shadows of my inner self. So at this point, what I would do if we were gathered in circle all together is do that child's fire meditation where you kind of go into the ether and find your cave, find your fire, find your tribe, and then come back. But we're not all together, so I don't know if I didn't make a plan B, so whatever. We're going to figure this out. I think what we're going to do is just go into our normal guided meditation and ask the West for help in kind of getting rid of those perfectionism and ego ideals and all that shit so that we can just see our core, who we are, what the fuck is real, and go forward. So, again, get comfortable on the floor or in a chair, either way, and take a deep breath. And above your head, visualize a golden ball of light. This light is warm and comfortable. As you breathe, allow this light to come down into your crown, into your forehead, into your skull, into your eyes, the bridge of your nose, your temples, your ears, your cheeks. As you continue to breathe, feel this light move down through your nose, into your jaw, in your mouth, into your neck, back of the head, the back of the neck, and the shoulders, your throat, your collarbone, your arms, down your arms to your elbows, down your forearms to your wrists, into your hands, and gently out through the fingertips. Each breath draws this golden light further into your chest, into your abdomen and your belly, into your hips, down your thighs to your knees, down your shins and calves to your ankles. This light moves through your feet and gently out of your toes. Allow this light to fill you completely. Recognize this light as your connection to divine creation. Pull some of this divine, warm, golden light to your heart center. Allow it to fill your heart completely. Gently release some of this warm, golden, divine light from your heart center to in front of you, and with it form a sphere. Gently think on the things that were discussed today. Which is basically how you've been tamed, how you've been taught to objectify yourself, the ceaseless demands that maybe you make on yourself or others make on you. Put all that shit in that sphere. And we're going to ask Grandmother Bear to assist us on our internal journey today, to know what to release and what to hold on to know what is true. And as she cares for her cubs all winter going without food, may we take care of our inner children and our heart, our own fires. May we have a greater understanding of what they need and what they don't. So that's the task today for our internal journey. And go now within. Okay. Take a breath. Take a stretch. Come back to the room. Feel your body supported. Feel gravity working again. And feel free to pause this video to write down anything that came up for you today. Yeah, go for it. I'm going to keep yapping, so you might want to pause it. While that journey was going on, I decided to not join in because even when we're all present, kind of holding the space and working takes away from my own journey. And since I'm recording this, I'm just going to do it later for myself, like anyone else would. While I'm sitting here, though, music's playing, and I'm thinking about everybody who might be going on their internal journey to it and sending them Reiki, which doesn't matter about time and space. It's whenever you're doing it. It's there if you want it. And I was looking at my plants and thinking about how beautiful my plants are and how wonderfully they've grown since I've got them. And then I was looking at my cat who's on my bed right over here. And I noticed that she has some of these really long hairs that come out of her fur. And I'm like, does she just have whiskers in a lot of random places on her body? She's a badass huntress. I bet she does. I bet those are whiskers. Profound, huh? Anyway, for a bunch of folks that I've spoken to, it's been a rough almost a year, but definitely 6 months, and definitely past few weeks, and definitely past couple of days. For me, it's been a little bit lighter than it was maybe a month ago. I don't know, I'm not writing this shit down. Boop, who's not journaling? So, take care of yourself, man. Take a minute. Relax. Unclench. All the things. And part of that exercise that we did today is sort of examining how we perceive ourselves in the world. It's great to do that, but I think that a way that you can kind of stay present and keep that in check for yourself is when you're having a conversation with a friend or someone, probably even better with somebody that barely knows you, and say you're out to dinner, you're out to lunch, whatever, you're at a party, you're getting introduced to people, and somebody asks you about an aspect of your life. Speak naturally, as hopefully, we all do in the moment, but of course nobody's that amazing. And then listen to yourself. And that will be extremely informative about how you actually feel about that thing, or what you want to be feeling about that thing, or what you project that might not actually be true about that thing with your internal feelings. Peace, And then, once you've reflected on it, and maybe written it down and been like, okay, so this is the thing, and this is what I say about the thing. This is where I want the thing to go. What do I do about this gap between where it's at and how I feel about it and where I want it to be? You can always shift your conversation a little bit. Like, this thing is here, and this is where I'm looking forward to it going. Instead of like, this is here, and either complain, or such fucking hyperbole about how awesome it is when it's not the most awesome. It's really not that awesome. It's not as awesome as it's gonna be. Like, once you've really put some effort in there and done some fucking work. Not that you're not working and putting effort in places, and everybody's amazing. Blur to blur. But I think you know what I mean. And I miss having you guys in the room. And I'm at home and my roommates are everywhere, and it makes me want to hide, So I'm like doing this video, trying to be engaging, and then like somebody stopping by my door. I'm like, oh god. New moon. It's freaking me out, man. That I'm learning to relax on that and just deal with the reality that this is what it is right now until it isn't. So I love you all, and I'm going to try to stay engaged with this page like I have been, and in other ways. I'll try to post those TED Talks that I referenced. If anybody's interested, if you're interested, let me know, whatever. And hopefully I will have a space that I can do a new moon ceremony in that's either my house or my temporary workspace, or who knows, my new workspace, the one I'm signing a 5-year lease for. Because once I have that jam, I'm going to be like, it won't have a classroom though, so it's going to, pimping ain't easy and ain't nothing perfect. I love you guys. I'll talk to you soon.